I went over to visit my friend. She came back from work with some leftover work from the office she was trying to work on. I said, babe, sleep now. Tomorrow you continue at work. You need to rest so that you function well at work tomorrow. She told me straight that I won't understand. Someone I was just advising to go to bed went to make a cup of coffee. Tell me why this girl was buried in work, and at 2:13 a.m. I heard the ding of a notification. This was not urgent and it was not an emergency. It was a message that read, "Hey, quick thing. Now listen. There's no such thing as quick thing at 2:13 in the morning." But there she was, with her eyes half open, typing, "Sure, no problem." You see this, my friend? She has somehow convinced herself that being available all the time meant that she was a valuable employee. And that meant the security of her job. Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here or this is your first time, my name is Ceci. I make faith-based lifestyle, personal development, and productivity content to help us grow spiritually, mentally, and practically. Real conversations about our walk with God in real life. As always, welcome back to our subscribed family. It's an awesome delight to have you here today. If you believe that your faith should influence every area of your life, including your career, then this is the place to be. So go ahead and subscribe to join this community of wholesome dieters. Please let me complete my story because there's somewhere I'm headed with today's conversation. By 2:47 a.m., she had sent the document. By 3:10 a.m., she was staring at the ceiling, wondering why her chest felt tight. She was even using me as an emergency medical doctor. I could remember the look on my face when she looked at me and said, "Ceci, do you know why my chest feels tight? I've been feeling it for months now." Me that has no form of medical training, how was I supposed to have an answer to that? Ha. Now, you would think that after that question, my friend was going to sleep at that 3:10 a.m. No, my friend worked till 4:30 a.m. I had to seize that laptop so that she can catch some sleep. By 6 a.m., she was up because she wanted to get to work on time. She had to get ready for a presentation, and at 9:30 a.m., she had a Zoom meeting that she must attend. When she came home fagged out that day, I was just looking at her like, how did we get here? And that was when it hit me. My dear friend had a boundary problem. See, nobody teaches us about this part of adulthood. We are told to work hard so that we can make it. And it's not a lie. They present this whole thing about the hustle culture to us. Grind now and shine later. What nobody adds to that is this: also protect your life and your health, because your job and the performance of that job depends on the quality of life you have. The thing is that if you're not careful, your work-life balance will look like work, small crying break, fatigue, burnout, more work. If you grew up in Nigeria, boundaries can feel illegal to have. You can't even say no to an auntie who is offering you more food without having to give a speech explaining why you are refusing that food. Now, imagine taking that same energy to the workplace. Your boss says, "Can you take one more task?" You say yes. Your colleague says, "Can you help me with this real quick, please?" You say yes. Your client says, "Can we jump on a quick call?" And you're looking at the time. It's 6 p.m., past close of work. You say, "Yes, sure, we can jump on the quick call." Now your body says, "Can we rest?" That's when you remember to check your to-do list to know if it's already time for you to rest. Let's get something straight. Having boundaries, especially in the workplace, is non-negotiable. Boundaries are not about you being difficult. They are about being deliberate to protect your energy, to protect your space, to protect your time, to protect your sanity. Healthy boundaries are the difference between being respected and being used. It's the difference between being productive and being exhausted. It is the major difference between having a career and losing your life to a career. If you don't set boundaries, people will magically set them for you. See, the way they will do this is to simply adjust to your lack of them. So, how do you set these boundaries to protect yourself? Number one, you have to define your non negotiable. Know your limits and define them before someone else defines them for you. Decide on what time does work end for you, what days are strictly yours. It goes without saying it's supposed to be the weekend, Saturday and Sundays. But some people, for some reasons, some employers, for some reasons, will message you on Saturday and Sundays and they magically expect you to give them your time, your energy, your space to work that you're supposed to do within Monday to Friday. They feel obligated that you respond to them during those weekends. If you don't define those days that are strictly yours, you realize you don't have any days for yourself. You decide what kind of communications are acceptable after work hours. Remember, my friend works in 9 to 5. So give or take by 6 p.m., maybe 8 p.m., she's done with work. But then a message is coming in at 2:15 a.m. And the message is quick one. What kind of communication is acceptable to you after work hours? And this is not about being rude or not being wise or smart as to how you handle these off work time communications. But what do you set as the acceptable one? What is your limit? Someone might say, oh, where is this? And you respond, oh, you can check this file here, or you can check here and you find this. Perfect. But when someone is saying quick one, can you? No, you cannot. If you don't define these things, your workplace will define them for you. And trust me, they will not choose in your favor. The other way to set these boundaries is to communicate clearly without even over explaining. Now, this is where a lot of people struggle, especially if you're used to being the reliable one, the one who gets things done on time. You don't need a 5 paragraph apology to explain anything to anyone as to why you will not be doing certain things at certain time. Instead of, I'm sorry, I wish I could, or I really feel bad about this thing, try, I won't be able to take this on right now, but I'll look at it tomorrow. Short, clear, simple, respectful. The other one is that you stop rewarding boundary violations. This one might sting a little. If someone crosses your boundaries, will you still comply? When you reward violations, you have just trained them to ignore your boundaries again and again. That's 2:13 a.m. messages. If you respond to them every time, guess what you've officially become? The person who replies messages at 2:13 a.m. Wait, I need to understand why you tolerate those messages at an ungodly hour. Is it that promotion comes by how fast you respond to messages? Why are you responding? This reminds me of that movie, Love in Every Word or something, where they have Achalugo and Odogo. Achalugo was played by Bam Bam and Odogu by Uzo Arukwe. You realize that her boss would always message her at ungodly hours, calling her at 3 a.m. and all of that. It took her would-be husband to stand up to her boss for that whole disrespect of boundaries to stop. See, if you are an employer of labor listening to me, you don't call someone after long hours at work for anything. And this message now, I'm talking to both employers and employees. If you're an employer, you work within working hours. If you choose to work after work hours, respect other people after work hours. Don't push it to someone else who have a life and have other things to do with their time. Don't push it to them and don't expect them to always be available and to always respond to your messages or jump on a quick call or one quick thing. No, you don't expect them to leave their sleep, leave what else they are doing to readily attend to your messages or your calls. And the bad thing about this thing is that a lot of people grow anxiety. They get anxiety issues from all these lack of boundaries. If you're an employer of labor, by all means, if you want to work after work hours, it's fine. You know what you're doing with your time. You might be very busy, but you have to respect other people's time because their work is not all there is to their life. There are other things people need to do with their time. There are other things, other aspects of their lives they need to attend to. Imagine you have an employee who is always working, no time to develop themselves career wise and otherwise. Are they going to get to that point where you feel like, oh, this person has come up to this place where they deserve certain things in the company? No, because there is no time. You allow work creep into their own personal time. People need time for their families. People need time for themselves. People need time for every other thing they have to do. There are other things begging for people's attention. So you allow people that time of work to be to be humans, to do every other thing they have to do. And then within that time they have dedicated, within that contractual hours they have to be at work, let them do what they came to do. If you must send a message, it should not be quick one. It should be a message telling them what they should do first thing upon resumption or something else, but not a quick one. And back to the career person who needs to set boundaries, you have to learn the power of saying no. Let's practice this. Someone asks, can you just do this thing real quick for me? You smile and say, no, I can't take that on right now. Simple. No thunder, no lightning, nobody has fallen dead anywhere. Even you did not faint after saying no. Did you realize that? Every time you say no to something that drains you, and it might not necessarily drain you, every time you say no to something that you should not be doing at that particular time, for some reasons, you're saying no to something that should restore you. For every time you say yes to more workload after work hours, you are saying no to the sleep that's supposed to restore you. You're saying no to the rest that's supposed to replenish you. So, what are those things you're saying no? What are those things you're saying no to? You're saying no to your sleep. You're saying no to your rest. You're saying no to your purpose. You're saying no to your family. You're saying no to your health, and your health is most important. See, if you don't have your health in order, work will go on without you. If you should work yourself to that point where you get hospitalized for a month, work will go on without you. That presentation will be presented. That deal will be signed. That presentation will be done. That deal will be signed. That new employee would come in. Everything will go on without you. And God forbid you die. After 5 minutes or 1 minute of silence, everything would go on as if you never even existed in that workplace. So you see, your life, your health, they are the main events. You cannot substitute your main event for something that is of no consequence. And I'm not saying your job, your work, your occupation, and your career and all of that are not important. They are important, but you should apportion time to all of them and set boundaries. Let your work not creep into the time you have for your family, and let your time for your family not creep into the time you're supposed to use to work. For instance, you work remotely, and then the time you're supposed to use to work, you're using it to take care of your children, you're using it to play with your kids. So the same way you set that boundaries that, oh, I work remotely, yes, but I have to work at this time and I have to attend to my family at this time. Same way, you don't allow the time for you to spend with your family. You let your work come into that time. So the essence of today's message is that it's important for you to have a thriving career. It's important for you to do well at your job. But it's also important to put a boundary to everything you do so that no one affects the other. No one impacts the other negatively. So what did I do to help my friend? See, I had to step in to help my friend because I needed her to go back to being that bubbly, lively friend I used to have. I couldn't afford to lose my friend to an endless loop of anxiety and stress. I wanted my friend whom we plan things together and we execute them together. Not the one that when I start making plans, she say, Ceci, handle the whole planning and I'll show up. And at the end of the day, she calls to cancel because of work. I needed my friend who was always present for those who matters in her life, and not the one I had to always be the one to run to the pharmacist to get an aspirin for her because she needed to recover to be present at work the next day. So now, what does she do? If her phone dings at 2:13 a.m., she looks at it and turns it over. She goes back to sleep like someone whose salary does not include midnight anxiety. as should be. And guess what? The world has not ended yet. The office has been running smoothly. Deadlines are still met and clients are still satisfied. If this hits home, don't just nod and move on. Pick one boundary today, set it, communicate it, and stick to it. The life you want is protected by the limits you are brave and courageous enough to enforce. And if you know someone whose quick one is ruining their pace, share this video with them. They might not say it out loud, but they need it. And if you want more faith-based practical content like this, subscribe to join the community. Until next time, remain wrapped in Abba's love.